Intro music.
Come on in.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
They have acquired Eric Johnson and Fernando Tatis Jr. from the White Sox in exchange for James Shield.
Welcome to Slam Diego!
My name is James,
My name is Joey.
and this is the Brothers Padre.
James, welcome to another week in Padres baseball. I'm hiding my sorrow with my voice.
You're doing a good job. How am I doing, Joey?
Great! You must have had a great week watching the San Diego Padres.
Fantastic. Well, okay, so
You know, the first half of this week was fine.
first half was fine. It was. So yes, it's not a happy week, but I do have a stat after the recap I'm going to tell you, and that will make you happier. All right, a fun baseball fact that will definitely make you happy at the end of this recap.
Okay, I'm all for fun baseball facts.
I guarantee it'll make you happy.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Should we get into it? Because let's
Yeah.
just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
All right, recap of the week of May the 27th. The Padres welcome into town the Pittsburgh Pirates. I was at this game, Joseph.
Yes, you were.
We won 4-3. Sean Manaea, quality start again. 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. Luke Voigt, 3-run homer. And Will Myers, an RBI single, accounted for our 4 runs. Mm-hmm. It was a fun game to go to. It was I got a Joe Musgrove towel. It was a good time to be had all around. And I again, see a quality start's always good.
Yep.
Game 2. The Padres lost 4-2. Joe Musgrove, quality start. 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. I'm not going to say this is foreshadowing for the rest of the week of
Right.
our offense not supporting our pitchers, but holy cow, that's stupid.
Yes. Yeah.
So our bullpen gave up 4 runs
Yes.
in the last 3 innings. It's just stupid.
The Padres stranded 16 people on base this game. I'll say that again. The Padres stranded 16 people on base.
Ha-Seong Kim struck out with the bases loaded twice to end the inning.
We had the base loaded 3 times, including those 2 times.
Yeah.
And 2 runs. Taylor Rogers had his first, and I'm going to call it his first real blown save, because extra inning blown saves are just stupid. It's weird they count them as blown saves because you can do your job and still get the blown save. But yeah, he gave up his first real blown save, first home run he gave up all year to one Key Brian Hayes. And it felt very bad. It felt like it could have easily been an 8-0 ball game for the 7th. And
It should have been an 8-0 ball game in the 7th. But again, you're gonna blow saves. The second blown save of the year. The other one was an extra inning blown save, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. Game 3, we win 4-2.
Yes.
And Joey, you were in this. So you were in attendance. So I would like you to tell me what it was like watching Mackenzie Gore go 7 innings and strike out 9.
It was pretty cool. I'll be honest. It was pretty cool. I was a big fan. I was a very big fan of that. I called him Mac Daddy a bunch in the stands. And one person asked me, why are you calling him Mac Daddy? And I had to explain to him, because he's my daddy. Not really. I should have, though. If I did say that, that's when like the Petco person would walk up to me, like, hey, you're just kicked out of the ballpark.
Say something, see something.
And that's, they saw something. It was super fun. I think Mackenzie Gore is the truth, and I'm not just saying that because I just saw his best start of his career. I think it's a dude is. I mean, today Baseball America did a top 100 again to redid the top 100 prospects. Mackenzie Gore jumped from 60 to 12th, and that's because he's performing so well in the major leagues.
And he's the front runner for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and so I mean, he's not going to qualify as a prospect anymore, and incredible to see the young man go through honestly super struggles as a young guy. I mean, he's still 23. I think we kind of forget that because he's been on the Padres radar for so long.
Well, we drafted him when he was 17.
Yep, and he's been having either incredible seasons in the minors and then scuffling in COVID year and last year. And this year, I mean, it's just awesome to see that talent be fulfilled. I think Ruben Niebla deserves all the credit in the world.
Oh, no. The end of this, I think Ruben Niebla deserves a lot of credit for the team.
Right. It was pretty awesome to see him perform. And, you know, everyone was stoked to see it. Everyone in the ballpark knew it. Like, Padre fans are pretty aware of that. And it was fun to see Padre fans, like, be really into Mac Daddy.
Because next year when they have a weekend towel giveaway with the jersey numbers of starting pitchers,
right,
there will be a number 1 with Gore on it.
Right.
Absolutely. And Joseph, you also got to see home runs, did you not?
This game was interesting because I in our last podcast got very mad that I didn't see home runs. I haven't seen a win since I've seen in person. I've shared with you guys my personal record, and I'm happy to say that record's coming around. Jurickson Profar hit a 2-run homer just to get the scoring started in the game. The Padres bullpen, which is still an issue, gave up that lead, tied 2-2, and then went to extras. And then I saw Mr. Trent Grisham attempt to bunt twice, but there's 2 balls, and then he decides, I'm going to swing. And he walked up the Pittsburgh Pirates off the field, and for the walk-off 2-run homer to hit the pole. Is there anything cooler than a pole
shot? No. It really isn't.
Because it's that drama, right? Because the batter doesn't know. No one on the field knows. Is going to hit it, and just doing.
Everyone's leaning.
Yeah, right.
One way. If you're one team, you lean one way. If the other team, you lean the other way.
Yeah.
And everyone in the stands like, ding! Especially for a game-winning shot, that's a movie moment.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Saw 2 home runs by Padres, and I saw an extra base hit. I don't know if it's the first time I saw an extra base hit this year, but it felt like it. So
yeah, it was a good series. We and then nothing else happened. The season. Oh, okay.
What's so interesting is in this next series, you definitely see these 2 series aren't that different. That's the disturbing thing. From a performance of the Padres perspective. We'll go into it. Yeah.
So we go to St. Louis and then we ended up losing 6-3.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Martinez, follow along, quality start, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs.
Mm-hmm.
Bullpen gave up the ghost again. And then game 5. We ended up losing 3-2. Blake Snell, quality start. 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Then the game 3 of the Cardinal series, we lose 5-2. Darvish did not pitch a quality start, but he almost pitched 8 innings. He gave up 5 earned runs, but Aaron Arenado, if he wasn't on the team, we would have won 2-0.
Yeah.
He either drove in 3 runs and he scored the other 2 runs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was that series.
I know we're zooming through it because it's bad, but I don't think the Pirates series and the Cardinals series. There's a lot of really good things to happen in the Cardinals series. Luke Voit had a great series. Trent Grisham hit another home run. He's actually looking more comfortable at the plate.
Jake Cronenworth got a hit every game.
Yeah.
And
Manny drove in runs. Like there's some good things of it. However, it's the same problem with the Pittsburgh series. We're not scoring lots of runs. We're having great pitching, but the runs aren't coming.
Well, we're not taking advantage of
big moments. Yeah,
big moments. And there was a couple bases loaded moments in the Cardinal series too,
yeah,
where we just couldn't get hits. And it just seems like, yeah, we can manufacture one run or two easily. Someone will hit a double and then we'll drive them in. But for some reason, when it's a big rally moment, everyone's looking for a grand slam and losing. And the reason why I wrote down the quality start, that's 5 out of 6 of the games had a quality start.
Yep.
And again, a quality start in Major League Baseball is 6 innings pitched, less than 3 earned runs or less in that inning. And you are statistically 75% more likely to win a game when you do that. And it's just really frustrating that we are not scoring runs for these guys. Because our pitching staff is probably the best I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, it's the best. I don't... As it stands currently, it's the most talented... We talked about this last year. I'm not saying not to pat ourselves on the back, but it wasn't exactly... We weren't exactly like looking at crystal ball when we said last year that this was the most talented pitching staff in Padres history. And then we added Sean Manaea. Like, you know, and Mackenzie Gore turned out to be the truth. Yeah. The inconvenient truth, if you will.
For who? For the rest of baseball, probably. Yeah, okay, I get what you're putting down. All right.
It just, since the tweet where we almost got Max Scherzer, the offense has just declined. I'm going to say it. It's the tweet that did it. The tweet is the reason why we're not hitting that well. Because this team, since the time, the trade deadline of last year, has just looked non-complete on offense. The lineup is not getting big enough hits when it needs to. And I know we don't have Fernando Tatis Jr. I know that baseball's offense is down across the board.
So
right?
the one thing that really frustrates me, that last game where we lost 5-2 was the first game in 15 games.
Yep.
The Padres did not out-hit their opponent.
Wild stuff, right? So we're getting singles like crazy, but we're not getting extra base hits, which I complained about in the pod. Loyal listeners know, but it's
also frustrating. Everybody's batting averages is increasing right now. Right. Well, I think we're on the cusp of breaking. Jerickson Profar had a good series in Pittsburgh and against Pittsburgh and in St. Louis. His batting average is now 230 something. Will Myers, before he got hurt again, was up. Jake Cronenworth has raised his batting average a couple points. Luke Voigt is hitting almost 400 since he's come back from the DA from the IL. Yeah. So it's just, what is the big moment killer? Is there some sort of stat saying Padres swing wild, all looking for a grand slam?
I think this is just me watching games. I think it's once it gets to the five hole, it is a grab bag of bad. Just like you're not getting consistent results from 5 to 9 in the order.
Correct.
I love Ha-Seong Kim just not performing. Austin Nola looks pretty lost at the plate. Jorge Alfaro he'll trick you because he'll hit 3 hits one game, and the next game it's like, I just swing at everything. It'll hit me in the crotch, but I'll swing at it. And then you have our outfield situation, right? Up until recently, our outfield wasn't hitting home runs. And when I say recently, it's literally recently. Profar and Grisham are hitting home runs, which is great. Right field's a dead spot. Will Myers not hitting home runs. Zokar's not doing a good job hitting home runs. And, it's Hosmer has regressed. He is not getting the hits he normally does. And so when you have a amount of inconsistencies, you can get the base loaded from the second, third, fourth hole, or, you can get people on base, but then you have people that just aren't driving in runs. And so I think it's more that the players that are good, but the players that aren't producing are so terrible, we just aren't able to get the big cash into the big hits. And so it leaves us with stranded tons of people, lowest barrel percentage in all of baseball, meaning we don't square up balls. We don't square up balls at all on a team basis. And it just means that we need power. We need people that hit for power. And I know every old analytics person in the world is gonna be like, well, you gotta hit for average. Like, that's not we're getting singles. That's not our problem. It's scoring them from first.
Well, my problem is,
And so power fixes that. Slugging fixes that. Doubles, triples, home runs fixes that. Yeah.
if Ha-Sung Kim would have gotten 2 singles during those bases low situations,
Right.
we would have won those games.
Right.
We're not hitting singles even when we're supposed to be hitting singles.
Right.
So that's my biggest problem is we're also not getting hits when we're supposed to.
So this is an interesting problem, right? We've had this rotating door of offense, right? We've had CJ Abrams up for a little bit. That didn't work. We've had
Beatty.
Thank you. I was like, what's that guy's name? Matt Beatty. We've run the experiment of Robinson Cano, and that did not go well either. And so now it's like we're at this place where we need to have people step up, but we also need to have production, an additive production someplace. So.
Well, before we get into how we're going to fix this, I promised you a stat that'd make you happy.
Yes. I'm ready.
So the Padres got swept in St. Louis.
Yes.
That's bad.
Yep.
Although St. Louis, it pretty much has the exact same record the Padres do.
Right.
Did you know over in Chavez Ravine, the Dodgers got swept by the Pirates?
Oh, yeah. Which is the most hilarious thing in the world.
No, told you to make you happy.
Pirates Twitter is a lot like what Padres Twitter was like in 2017, if you guys remember the dark days. It was dark and it was tough, but whenever some little glimmer of hope of just funness happened, the whole place erupted with glee. And watching Pirates Twitter just like have a great time was pretty fun last night. I'll be honest, just seeing all of these guys, they'll be like, "Yeah, we're going to win the World Series now. Yeah, we're gonna take it all," you know. And you gotta give hat tip to Pirates. They played a super great series. Like they honestly like beat the crap out of the Dodgers.
They did, and it was really like wow. Capito Marcano.
Oh yeah,
we gave up a star.
Padres legend. Yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. So we didn't lose any place in the stand. It didn't gain, but also didn't lose. So
that's a wash in the standing standpoint. But again, we didn't get swept by the Pirates in our home stadium.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I think this might be the downturn of the Doyers. I think they're finally. This might be the thing that makes them realize they're a lousy team. I would say we should contact the brothers Dodgers and see how they're doing. Yeah. But as you know, they're no longer doing anything.
We have a standing relationship with the other 28 brothers of Major League Baseball, but there's one set of brothers podcast we do not have a good relationship with.
Well, Joey, I don't know. Did you hear last week it ended with, like most LA relationships, one of them stabbed the other one in the face?
Yeah, I mean, that just makes sense. That's what we expected, right?
I know. I mean,
that's why we don't have a good relationship with them, So
yeah, Dodgers just LA does that. All right.
But we need to talk about I mentioned it about the Robinson Cano experiment ending, and in fact, today or last night, Robinson Cano has been asked to be optioned, or rather, they're going to ask him to option himself to elect free agency. And the Robinson Cano experiment with the San Diego Padres is now over. They're calling up Nomar Mazara from AAA, who's hitting 1-point-something OPS and 300-something, has tons of home runs in El Paso, to replace him on the roster. What are your thoughts, James, about the legendary Robinson Cano era and the now forthcoming Nomar Mazara era?
Robertson Cano, I understand why they signed him.
Yeah.
It
definitely, I think he is when he was a Padre, was one of the top 5 smiles in Padres, right? He had a good set of chompers. Like he did a good set.
I don't have a problem keeping him on staff as a hitting coach or something.
Right.
Or just a bench coach rally guy. But I post this on Twitter. If the Padres are looking for a 39-year-old to ground out to second every at bat, I can do that for half the money. Like
right. Yeah. he didn't produce as a Padre. Had a .094 average as a Padre. Did not come through in big moments, which would have saved his job. It was an experiment.
It's very watching him. You go, okay, yeah, he's definitely hit that point where you are no longer you're too old to play the game.
Right.
And there are some players that don't hit that point at this age. Right. Case in point, Albert Pujols, 42, a couple years older than Cano, still getting a semi-decent job done, although it's his last year. Nelson Cruz is still doing the job.
Right.
It just he's hit that point where he can't do it anymore, and he's had a great career. Everyone loves him. I am looking forward to seeing what the new kid can do.
Right.
Now, he's never been in the majors before, right?
No. So he is, as you don't know this, do you? So he, of course, was part of the greatest team.
Well, I knew that.
Of 2010s, which that is the early 2010 Texas Rangers, which A.J. Preller thinks is the greatest team ever constructed. He was drafted in the same set and came up in the minors with Joey Gallo, Jerickson Profar. That photo I sent earlier to you was all three of them in the minor leagues coming up together in the system that A.J. Preller helped build. Nomar Mazara had 4 seasons in the majors with 19, 20 home run seasons. 19 home runs, 20 and 3 20 home run seasons. Dude has legit power. Dude once hit a 500-foot home run in Texas in the old Arlington Stadium. So he has tons of isolated power. He can drive the ball. He recently reconstructed his swing with the same person that works with Mookie Betts. He does seem to have better plate discipline at the plate in minor leagues. And he hits the ball far. But, Trace Thompson hit the ball far in AAA, So okay. I am cautiously optimistic. If he doubles the batting average of Robinson Cano, I'm okay with that. If he could
get a double with the bases loaded.
Right.
Twice a week.
Right.
I'll be happy with him.
Yep. So he's coming up. He's going to join his many former Texas Rangers on the Padres roster. Cautiously optimistic. AAA is very different than majors. There's a big gap in pitching, but that being said, he does have experience in the majors rather. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, just because I think it's funny, Yankee people always think that their team, they just assume everybody else are morons other than Yankee people. Mm-hmm. So they're not happy with Joey Gallo.
Right.
And I saw this little thing on Yes Network, like, we should trade Gallo for Mackenzie Gore.
Well.
And then whatever the Yankee guy was like, Gallo isn't worth the Mackenzie Gore.
No, he's not. Yeah, I think there's a real chance that, this is my hope. I think Preller looks at what the Braves did in last trade deadline, and I think he should model it. Which is what the Braves did is they've reconstructed their entire outfield with low batting average, high power guys. And if you watched last year's World Series, that was very effective.
Yes.
Jock Peterson and Jorge Soler were game changers to that postseason run. Not necessarily because they always get clutch hits, because they always had the ability to hit 450-foot home runs.
Yeah.
There's a lot more in baseball than hitting home runs, but having that threat consistently throughout your lineup is powerful. I think there's a real chance that Profar, Mazara, and Gallo are on the team again. I think Gallo's a real possibility, especially if he struggles. Preller loves Joey Gallo. Preller thinks he's
the bee's knees. And does the other guy, does he play center field?
Mazara, I think he plays right field. So probably platoon with Myers because he's a a lefty bat. So
I don't want to see Gallo on our team.
sorry.
I don't want to see Joey Gallo on our team.
You're gonna have to start getting over that because Preller wants to collect them all. He needs every single former Texas Ranger.
And when he gets them all, he'll take over the world. AJ Preller will become a kaiju.
Why do you think he did?
He'll just grow.
That's why he wanted Nelson Cruz too. He wanted them all.
Yeah.
There's. I don't think it's a bad idea if they can find a way to fix him a little bit, then it's worth a shot. Especially if we're not getting any more production than Joey Gallo is currently producing. There's no harm in trying.
Yeah,
it.
it's true.
Right.
But we're not giving Mackenzie Gore for a Gallo.
No, they're not getting. No, you're not getting a top.
At the best, they'll get a Reese Kinnear.
Yes.
For Joey Gallo.
Oh, a Lamet Gallo straight up trade doesn't seem that terrible to me either.
No.
Both the exact same kind of person, right? Super high ceiling, have proven top tier success in the major leagues, but right now scuffling.
Yes.
But yeah. We'll talk more about trade deadline pieces when we get there. But.
Yes. Well, we need to talk about one more subject. And ordinarily, Joey and I don't like talking about anything other than the Padres. Anything political, anything stupid. But we do have, because the Padres are involved, we do have to talk about the slap that was heard around the world.
Yeah.
Some might say that of all the slaps that have happened, the funniest.
Oh, yes.
But also the deadliest because they were pro athletes.
I think it was last week. There's reports of an altercation before the Giants and Reds game. Altercation between Jock Peterson and Tommy Pham. And you ask yourself, they don't have beef. They're never on the same team. They're never on division rivals.
This all went down last Friday because I was at the game when this happened.
Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong when I retell this, what we know about. Tommy Pham approached Jock Peterson in that game.
In the outfield doing batting practice.
And comes up to him and says, like, effectively, what's up? Do you remember? And he's like, last year, fantasy football? And Tommy Pham said, yeah, and proceeded to slap him across the face. It turns out Jock Peterson's in a high stakes fantasy football league with Tommy Pham, or was a year and the dates are fuzzy, either late 2020 or late 2021. And Tommy Pham was led to believe that Jock Peterson was cheating in fantasy football. And he was so annoyed that he assaulted him a year later on a professional baseball field.
To be fair, 5 months later.
It is insane.
So that was the original thing that came out, just because Jock Peterson had some dude that was listed out, but he put him on his bench. And that's, although it was in the rules, it's frowned upon. It's an unwritten rule of fantasy baseball, apparently. Football.
If the website allows it, like, how is it cheating?
It's not.
Yeah.
But then the next day, Tommy Pham added the story of, well, we also insulted the Padres. And that's where the Padres come into being. And then it cuts back to Jock Peterson. The funny, like, seriously, you should all just look at Jock Peterson's response, because he's
It's
just
so
like,
funny.
I just want to play baseball. I don't. This is the stupidest thing that's ever happened in my life. And the gif was, because Jock Peterson is friends with a lot of Padres.
Right. So many Padres were in the same league as Tommy Pham and Jock Peterson. Yeah.
Yes. And then, so the gif was because he was making fun of the Padres' collapse. It was 3 weightlifters throwing medicine balls up in the air, or over their shoulders, and it was a Dodgers, Giants, Padres, and the Padre guy throws it, and it comes back down, hits him on the head, and knocks him out.
Admittedly, very funny.
Yeah, and it's
True.
It's true. That's what happened to the Padres last year. We were all there. And then Jock Peterson showed it, and he's like, there's stuff like this happening all the time. And I just think that... And then Tommy Pham came out and said he's a high roller in Vegas, so if you mess with his money, this is what he's doing. But then he apparently committed the highest cardinal sin of any fantasy football league, is he left the league halfway through.
Yeah.
He just got so frustrated. And then so people were like, well, why did he do that? That's like the biggest, D-bag move ever. It's so story's so nuts. Tommy Pham kept on coming out trying to say things like to like make people like agree with him. Yeah. He was a real Amber Heard.
Oh, wow.
About it. Don't hit me.
Wow. After our big spiel that we don't use current events. Okay.
All right, anyways, he kept on trying to like make himself look better, but it just kept on getting worse and worse and worse. He then goes to blame Mike Trout. He said, this is all Mike Trout's fault because Mike Trout was the commissioner and he did such a bad job. Mike Trout didn't want to be the commissioner. Everybody made him the commissioner because he was injured at the time.
Yeah.
So they just sort of made him as commissioner. And I sympathize because a similar thing happened to me when I played fantasy sports.
Yeah.
I was just made the commissioner once.
Right. No one likes being commissioner. This is what Mike Trout came out and said. He's like, I've never known a commissioner who's not disliked or booed. Every commissioner is disliked. Yeah. But Tommy Pham really thought that invoking Mike Trout's name, the most innocent baseball man who rarely speaks about anything, who's known as like one of the nicest guys in the sport, not only the most talented, like, oh, I'm gonna badmouth Mike Trout.
Legitimately, Mike Trout is if Opie from the Andy Griffith Show.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Grew up to become a baseball player.
Yeah.
That's Mike Trout.
Right, and the story, like, I thought for sure would die, but we're getting more morsels and details. At this point, I need a 30 for 30 just on this incident.
Yes.
I need to know who's in the text chain. I need to see the text chain.
I need to know how much money this is being played for.
Well, they said it's a $10,000 buy-in, and if you lose, you have to spend another $10,000. Oh, it is. Tommy Pham's right. It is high stakes.
Yeah, but they all make that waking up.
Yeah. I mean, they make $700,000 a year. They can afford. Maybe they shouldn't be able to. Maybe they shouldn't do it. Maybe that's a prudent financial decision to put $10,000 down on a fantasy football league. But I need the most adept investigative journalist on this story. I need, because this is not the only weird. Like, there's so much more going on in this fantasy league that I need to know about.
This story has everything you look for.
Yes.
It's in a sports story. It crosses sports.
Oh, yeah.
It's about two different sports. And then it all of a sudden has all the people who play fantasy sports, which is a huge amount of people,
right,
are all upset because, like, everyone hates when people don't fill out their rosters. Everyone hates it when somebody cheat or you perceive cheating.
Right.
Even though it's not cheating. Everyone hates it. But one of the tried and true things about fantasy football is in your chat, you all talk
mad crap.
Yeah, to each other. That's the whole thing.
Yep.
We had a fantasy football league, baseball league growing up.
Yeah.
With just our uncles and dad and all the brothers.
Yeah.
And we were talking mad crap to each other.
It's part of the deal. And a part of you always, it's just so funny that you have people that. So first off, Tommy Pham's a cartoon character.
He really is.
Tommy Pham is like a Disney cartoon villain. He just sits so annoyed. He says the weirdest things like, "I have a gym. I want to beat up Luke Voigt," or "I'm a high roller type at many Vegas casinos." You're like, this is just the weirdest things to brag about. Like, it's not something you brag about at all.
So if Mike Trout is Opie, becoming a baseball player, Tommy Pham is Biff from
Oh yeah.
Back to the Future if he becomes a baseball player.
For for sure. I am there's some sports journalist that's digging the bottom of this, and I can't wait to read more about how petulant Tommy Pham is, how the other baseball players are known at Mike Trout. I need to know all the details. I need to know which Padres are also on the chain.
Oh yeah, that has to come down.
It has. I think I'm willing to bet it's Hosmer and Machado for sure.
Well, I know for a fact, Jock Peterson during the off season, he trained in the same gym with Joe Musgrove, and what was the other guy? He was down here in San Diego training with us with several guys.
I just need to know. I don't know. I need to know who's complicit. I need to know who defended. I need to know who's on whose side, because it's going to color my opinion, right? If you think Tommy Pham's in the right, then maybe we don't know the whole story. Maybe maybe Mike Trout isn't as nice a guy.
This needs to be the next. Now that said, her depth trial is over. This has to be the next trial.
Right. Absolutely.
America. We need to see them in their running out bodies and suits.
Yeah.
We need to see them sit there. And we need to see still shots hitting cameras. This is by far the stupidest thing. And one thing I have to say about this whole thing is going on. How happy are you that we didn't sign Tommy Pham?
Man, oh man, dude is a drama magnet. It's actually, he's not a drama magnet. He just he doesn't have to say. If he said half the stuff, if he just cut what he said in half, he would be fine.
Yeah,
but he just says these inane things. It's insane things rather, and it's very enjoyable as a non-Padre fan. But I can't imagine what Reds. I bet the Reds fans have a love-hate relationship. They love it because it's their team isn't this part of the team's entertaining at least, but they also kind of hate it because you just add so much drama. Because what do you think? The Giants are going to play the Reds again at some point, I'd imagine.
Tommy Pham and Jock Peterson are going to be on the same team.
Right.
We're going to be on the same field eventually.
Right.
And everyone's going to be watching what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the thing is, anyway, it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. It is. They're paid millions of dollars to play a game.
Yeah.
In which this whole thing is after over a leisure activity.
Right.
That these millionaires are playing. It really is the most ridiculous thing. And also, so Tommy Pham was suspended for 3 days. I got a $100,000 fine.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. High Roller in Vegas, was that worth it?
I don't know. But like I said, maybe we don't know all the facts. Maybe there is. Maybe that's the sort of thing that only is uncovered with a good investigative journalist and documentary series.
That's why we need a trial.
Right.
There's got to be some piece of evidence. Oh, it's Jock Peterson's fault the whole time. Bum, bum, bum. Wait, is Mike Trout evil? It could have all been manipulation just to make Tommy Pham look bad. America needs to know.
James, we have one more thing to talk about, and that's what do you think our next 7 games are going to be like? Because we are playing the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee, and then we're playing 3 nights against the New York Mets in San Diego. What do you think our record is against 2 very good teams?
Oh, I think we split in Milwaukee, and
Mets are the biggest challenge.
Mets are the biggest challenge. But the problem with the Mets is they're a really good fastball hitting team.
Yep.
We have really good pitchers that can get away with not throwing fastballs.
And I think Musgrove may pitch. Well, pitched on Friday, so he may not pitch when. Well, we'll see. I think he misses the Mets.
So these next 7 games, I think we split with the Brewers, and I think we take 2 out of 3 against the Mets because they, on the other hand, have. If we could shut their offense down, their starting pitching is not.
I would say it's uneven.
Yeah.
Currently uneven.
We have way better starters, and they have way better hitters right now.
If this was the Mets with Max Scherzer and DeGrom, we might be having a different discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if we were facing them.
right.
Now, so I did see that we are going to miss the Woodruff. The first 3 games, we don't face Woodruff or Burns.
Burns is scheduled on Friday now.
Oh, okay. They did that, huh?
Yeah.
Because I knew he was having some sort of problem with his elbow.
It's not, I mean, the Brewers staff is just like, it's like the Padres staff, which is like very, very good, very efficient.
Yes.
Devastating stuff when it's on.
And the problem is they also have an efficient offense.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Brewers and the Cardinals and us are like all kind of the same team, right? I think Cardinals probably have the better offense of all 3 teams, I would say, just because they have Goldschmidt and Arenado who are destroying the baseball currently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's Brewers are the toughest one for me to know about because we're just so even. I really hope we do. I actually hope we do 3 of 4 against Brewers. I think that maybe there's some frustration from being swept that's going to feed into momentum for the Brewers, and we just win 3 very close games against the Brewers. And then I think we go 1-3 against the Mets. I think the Mets offense, if they sniff out one pitch, if they can guess what one pitcher's doing, it's just like devastating. That offense, once it gets going, I think I read a stat they lead the league in 5-run innings.
Yes.
It's just like, gosh darn it. Padres haven't scored 5 runs in 9 games.
I know.
So, like,
but again, their pitching staff is not great right now. Their starting pitching is not great at all, and so
yeah. I think it's 4-3, but I think it's 3 against the Brewers because I think there's enough variability for us to take advantage of, and then I think I'd be very surprised just because our bullpen and our offense is not consistent that we could shut down the Mets.
I think we're gonna. I mean, out of all those teams, the most likely of us. I mean, I think we're gonna lose 4-3 as well. 2 to the Brewers, 1 to the Mets. But out of all the teams that we have the most likelihood of sweeping, if we could shut their offense down, is the Mets.
Yeah,
because
but we're so bad at home. That's the other thing that's crazy. We're so bad at home. Well, not this past week has shown that we're just bad anywhere, but like offensively, but. Like we could be this next week and be like, oh, we're actually starting to barrel up some stuff, and who knows? Maybe Noah Mazara is going to go off and
hopefully
have 4 home runs by the time next week.
Well, let's just say this: he can't do any worse than Robinson Cano.
That's true.
He could do as good as Zokar.
True, that is true. Well, James.
So I'm saying 4-3. You're saying 4-3, but different loss.
Different logic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I just hope that it's. I just hope it's 4-3. I just hope we get the 4. We squeeze out 4 wins somehow.
And remember, I think this is where every team right now is in the middle of a long stretch of games.
Yep.
We are playing 31 games in 31 days.
Yep.
Because of the whole, hey, let's stop baseball off. Now, I think this might be an advantage because we're doing it early in the season. Other teams are doing it later in the season. Yeah. I believe the Giants and the Dodgers have their 31-game stretch in the later half of the season. So this is going to be a slog month. If we can come out of this 31 games playing 500 baseball, I will be very, very happy.
Yeah, I agree. End up being still 10 games above 500. You'll take that.
Yeah.
You will take that. Cool. James, we're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Thank you so much for your listenership. And until next time, James, go Padres.
Go Padres.
There it is! Oh, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!